Johannesburg will have a newly elected mayor any moment. The ANC, DA and EFF are all battling it out for control. Vote counting is currently underway. Let's get more reaction on the story. I'm joined by political analyst Sandile Swana. Thanks for your time. We appreciate it. So we know that the ANC, EFF and DA are all vying for this position. Why is it so important? Most of us know, but not everyone.
Thank you so much, Shan. I think that there is no question about the mayorship of Johannesburg. It's probably the most powerful city in Africa, and certainly it is the commercial and financial hub of South Africa and Africa as a whole, as things stand today. So to be mayor of Johannesburg, you're probably ranking alongside some of the countries in terms of the GDP that the budgets that you command.
Yeah. So we have the DA that possibly might lose control over the city of Johannesburg. It was a big win for them when they joined forces with other parties to take over. What does this loss mean for the Democratic Alliance if its person who's nominated does not make it this time around?
I think the DA could have foreseen this situation that they could lose Johannesburg and more by changing this. First of all, right now they've got one case study, which is the Western Cape, where they seem to be doing well. In Tshwane, they've been in charge, they've not done well. Under Mashaba, they've demonstrated to the people of Gauteng that they can do well running a major metro. By the way, when you talk about Johannesburg, it's not in the same league as Cape Town. Some people don't understand that Joburg is several times bigger than Cape Town. It's not the same thing. So losing Johannesburg for the DA is a serious political blow in Gauteng, the most populous province, and the province that in the last election there were signs that the ANC could lose even the province itself. Right now the DA has opened the door for the ANC to come back into the game big time.
Let's talk about the EFF. They are vying for control as well. They're using that card that they have, the power of their vote when it comes to these councils. It's between Tshwane and Johannesburg. What happens and what will this do for the EFF if they do actually get elected to this mayorship position?
I think the first thing that maybe we can say that they can benefit is that the EFF right now does not have a ward councillor. All their councillors are proportional representatives. In other words, there's not a single ward in Johannesburg that said they want to be represented by EFF. So they are in position with 30 seats only on the basis of remainders that they collected, small remainders that they collected all around the other wards. So it would be the first time that somehow elected by politicians, not elected directly by the public, elected by politicians, they will have now some credibility of actually representing the city and being in power.
And with power comes the responsibility of getting things done and providing proper services to government. The EFF is used to being in the opposition benches, calling out leaders like the ANC and DA in these municipalities when they fail to do their jobs. They will now be in that leadership position if they are voted in. And that responsibility is something they'll have to deal with, which will be difficult, do you think?
Well, there are clever ways of dealing with that. One of them is to simply accept that the budget is in place, all the plans that Mashaba had are in place, the management team is in place, keep them on track. So from that point of view, theoretically at least, it shouldn't be such a difficult job to say, I'll just keep on to what Mashaba was doing, don't try to be fancy and look good. The other thing is that the EFF needs credibility. This whole stunt is an announcement to the public that they should start imagining an EFF government. Even if they may not be thinking seriously that they can win this election, but it's a good publicity stunt.
Yeah, and what about the ANC? I mean, the good thing would be for them, for the party that is, to win control of Johannesburg again and redeem themselves.
Yes, the ANC is in a very difficult position. And I'm not saying this electorally. Electorally, I think out of all the contestants, I suspect the ANC is in the strongest position right now, except if the EFF turns in a split second and supports the DA. as things stand, the ANC is in the strongest position. However, we have to remember that they have big questions around their name. For instance, if you think about the Alex Renewal program, when the ANC was in its strongest position ever in the history of Johannesburg and South Africa, they were given several billions of rands to do the Alex Renewal, which they just abandoned and didn't make a good job of it in finishing it off. They started well, they didn't finish, and it's got an inquiry going on. They've got many, many other projects which are now under investigation in one capacity or the other. So they have a big credibility problem in terms of finishing projects that they start, and also in terms of looking after funds that have been allocated.
All right, thank you so much for your time and your insight. We appreciate it. That was political analyst Sandile Swana. Of course, our reporter Samkela Maseko is there at the Joburg Council. He, of course, is monitoring that vote counting process. As soon as an announcement is ready, we will take you there live, so stay tuned to The Lead.